Welcome back, everybody, and thanks so much for joining us here at SmallCapVoice.com and our online business briefing. I'm Stuart Smith, the CEO of SmallCapVoice, and I'm excited to welcome back to the show CyberloQ Technologies, who's traded on the OTCQB under the ticker symbol CLOQ. We did an earlier audio interview just before the summer, came out June 27th. You can use that ticker symbol to find that press release and our interview with the CEO of CyberloQ. That's Chris Jackson. We're welcoming back Chris today, as well as Cary Strange. He is the president of QRails, which is a Denver, Colorado fintech company in the payment processing and payments processing and earned wages access verticals. Boy, that's a mouthful, Cary. I probably didn't nail that, but that's okay. You will. Welcome to the show. First to you, Chris. How you doing?
Hey, good, Stuart. Thanks for having Cary and I on today. We're looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And Cary, welcome to the online business briefing brought to you by SmallCapVoice. Thanks for being our guest today.
Hey, thanks, Stuart. Really glad to be part of the podcast. Excited to share what we're doing here today.
Well, as you heard me fumble through it at the intro and the outset of this interview, Cary, we'd like to know from you exactly what is QRails in a nutshell, and how does your company fit into the payment ecosystem and card space?
Yeah, well, QRails is a wholly owned subsidiary of a company called XTM, and we're a global leader of what's called earned wage access, which is the ability to allow employees to take out their compensation, their salary, their wages, or tips early. We also do pay cards and have processing and payment solutions. So we're a pretty significant growth company with thousands of customers. We've got nearly 200,000 cards, in employees' hands. So we're one of the clear market leaders there. So a lot of people know us as an earned wage access provider, but the reality is before we did that, before we built out what's called our EWA solution, we first built a full stack prepaid and debit issuer processor. So this capability really allows us to quickly roll out prepaid and debit programs just about anywhere in the world.
Well, outstanding. Well, then let's talk to you then a little bit about this, Chris, telling us a little bit about how this will all fit together. Tell us a little bit about what's been going on with CyberloQ. You've been making a lot of big progress in this area since our last call, right at the beginning of summer. Talk to us about some of these moves and how you'll be working with QRails.
Well, I think one of the biggest things that we were able to do within the bad actor ecosystem in the payments industry, the processing engine is kind of the arbiter. And I think Cary will attest to this. They're the ones who actually determine whether a transaction is ultimately going to go through or not. And CyberloQ will be an exceptional value-added service to QRails and any other processing engine that CyberloQ actually connects with. One of the things that the bad actors simply aren't stopping. And anything that we can do to empower a network, a card network, or a processing engine to delineate real transactions from fraudulent transactions, we feel that it's a good fit. And QRails is going to be an exceptionally great partner as we move forward domestically here and then across the pond with some of our other partners that QRails and CyberloQ have longstanding relationships with. We're excited about this partnership.
Well, and I want to touch on that a little bit deeper then, Chris. You've built a foundation, as I just pointed out, here in 2023, and I would assume that 2024, are we looking at this is the year where the rubber hits the road, the growth plan sort of accelerates? Is that what we should expect from CyberloQ?
Yeah, when you do an integration of this magnitude, it doesn't happen overnight, and you have API calls, you have SDKs, software development kits, all of these things that are required for one technology stack to communicate effectively with another. And then more importantly, it's delivering that technology to the end user customers in a very seamless behind the scenes fashion. And we'll go ahead and move through all of that architecture. Our development teams will communicate with one another and we'll get there. But yeah, 2024 is when CyberloQ and QRails think we're really going to make inroads with a lot of different customers here domestically and then overseas as well within this earned wage access program and then the entire QRails portfolio as well.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. So, Cary, aside from your existing growth plans with the earned wage access or on-demand pay, can QRails support additional card processing and card programs, specifically some of the large-scale opportunities within the credit union ecosystem here in the States?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the way our processing platform is laid out, we can roll out virtually any type of customer, small and large alike. So, it's a cloud-based, API-driven platform, and really lets us support, like I said, anywhere from small to enterprise programs. So in the U.S. specifically, we can quickly implement virtually any type of customer too. So, we've done business with banks, fintechs, credit unions, and lots of other types of companies. And what's really interesting is the QRails CyberloQ partnership. We also have a company. So when you do a card program, you have to what's called a BIN sponsor in a bank, and that allows you to take these card programs out to the market. And in the UK, we're working with a company called Transact Payments Limited. It goes by TPL. Mm-hmm. And that relationship also allows us to launch a card program throughout the UK and Europe. So, while we're really strong here in the US, we're growing throughout the rest of the world. And it's a really interesting type of business. So when you think about the TPL combined with the CyberloQ and the QRails, we're really going to help secure some of these different types of card and processing accounts. So, Chris referenced the bad actors. And if you think about what we're going to be able to do with this combined technology, is really get it from the very beginning. So when you go through what's called a KYC process, that's when a customer, an end user signs up for a card program. We're going to be able to lock that down and understand where that customer is. And if it's really the person applying for the card, with identity theft and so forth, we're going to be able to really solve some of those problems in the sign up. And then that moves all the way to the transactions. So since we're a processor, we're able to manage who's actually swiping their card and purchasing stuff and be able to stop the fraud at that level too. So it's a really interesting partnership that we're able to hopefully proliferate throughout the not just the US, but the world.
Oh, it's exciting to hear about the global market being brought into play as well. Yeah. So a final question for both of you, and I'll start with you, Cary. What is about this strategic partnership between QRails and CyberloQ that precipitated this current agreement?
Yeah, well, one of the things that CyberloQ does really well is they've got kind of a geofencing and multi-factor authentication technologies. And like I said in the previous segment up there, that, being able to embed that into the processor, embed that into the transaction flow, really allows us to stop fraud in its tracks and really manage a customer, give them comfort, that their card is secure, their transactions are secure. But when all's said and done, we're just kind of laying the groundwork here. We're just starting this partnership with CyberloQ. So we're just kind of laying the groundwork for what that's going to look like. But ultimately, QRails takes security and fraud very seriously. So implementing something like CyberloQ, figuring out how to integrate it into all of our processes, we hope that's going to keep both the program and the cardholder safe going forward.
Well, Chris, as you heard, that question was also for you as well. So let's get your color and insights into this relationship that precipitated the agreement.
Thanks so much, Stuart. I would just really, in closing, would like to echo Cary's sentiments. And, as a company, we are extremely excited to be partnering with QRails and our partner across the sea, Transact Payments Limited. On the 27th of September, the company crossed a huge milestone. We filed an 8K with the Securities and Exchange Commission. And within that contractual document integrating with QRails, we also crossed a small step towards success as a company in delivering some revenue. And albeit it's not massive amounts of revenue, it's continual and it's baby steps. We have to walk before we can run. And also I'd like to essentially acknowledge all of, and as a company, we certainly appreciate all of our continued support from our tenured shareholders. And we look forward to embracing new ones as we integrate CyberloQ across the globe. And in the coming months, we'll get back with you again because we're going to be moving into the app stores for the iOS and the Android platforms. And as more news becomes available in other verticals and channels that CyberloQ as a company is working towards, we'll be sure to reach out and share that information as well.
Well, I'm excited to share this with our viewing audience and, of course, our listening audience as well here at Small Cap Voice. We have been speaking with Chris Jackson, CEO of CyberloQ Technologies, traded on the OTCQB under the ticker symbol CLOQ. And we got to meet Cary Strange today, president of QRails. And again, you can learn more about both these companies just by pulling up that ticker symbol CLOQ. And of course, a Google search on QRails was all I needed to do to figure out everything about this company and go to their website. It's beautiful. I encourage you to do so. So Cary, thanks so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
And Chris, as always, welcome back. And we look forward to speaking with you again in the near future as more great news about CyberloQ hits the press wire right here at Small Cap Voice.
Always a pleasure, Stuart. Thanks so much.
All right, for Chris and Cary, this is Stuart Smith signing off. Leave your comments below and, of course, like and subscribe.